I don't mean to change the subject completely, Annie, but I'm going to do it anyway. For the last few minutes that we have, you were giving us the flag that we have a few minutes left, right?
Yeah.
Can we help for the next 2 to 3 minutes just make sense of Turkey, Syria, and what's happening in Turkey, Syria?
Yeah. So there are some escalating issues that are happening with regards to how much Turkey is bombing the Syrian regime. If for those who don't know, Turkey officially supports the resistance, the Syrian rebels who are fighting against the Syrian government, Bashar al-Assad,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, what does this mean, and how do we contextualize the escalating tensions within Syria? As we all know, the Syrian war has not ended; it's still continuing for many years. And what we need to understand at the base and at the inherent program or policy regarding Syria is that it's a controlled conflict. Now, what does that mean? A controlled conflict. The powers that be, that Russia, the United States, NATO, etc., they want to manage this conflict so that it doesn't overtake, because the United States doesn't have their guy. They don't have a reliable partner on the Syrian side. They have the Syrian Democratic Coalition or whatever, but they're not very powerful. They're not a very strong resistance partner. So what the United States has done is that, well, when you can't make a decision, what we do is we make no decision and we just manage the conflict. So what they do is now they manage all the various resistance factions within Syria by giving them just enough weapons so that they can capture a certain area in Syria. And they manage the power structure in that way until a better option comes. Now, where does Turkey come into this? Turkey's a part of NATO. They're not going to go cowboy and start taking on the Syrian government. Okay, it's not going to escalate to a regional warfare between the Syrian government and Turkey. And if that was the case, Turkey would smash them completely and obliterate the Syrian government, because the Syrian government sucks. They just don't have enough weaponry to fight against Turkey. How do you understand the escalating tension between Turkey and Syria? Is that Turkey's just sending them a message that, hey, don't mess with us, don't bleep with us. We're going to you kill our soldiers, we're going to kill 1,000 of yours, you know? Similarly to what the United States does, when it's always the bigger power shows to the little power that, hey, you kill any of our soldiers, we're going to kill 100 of yours or 1,000 of yours. Similar to what the Israelis do to the Palestinians, you know? They really just send a message, really letting them know that we're the ones who are more powerful than you. You want to go after us after we kill 1,000 of yours? Then we will. They would really have understood that message by then. But if Bashar al-Assad is incredibly stupid, he would retaliate even more. Then you could probably have a really...
or if he's counting on Russia getting involved.
Yeah, but the problem is, Russia would have to green light him and say, like, hey, you want to go and mess with Turkey? We're going to back out. Like, we're not going to be on your side. You know, we're not going to be part of your posse.
So message well taken. Sorry to cut you off again. So someone could say, well, if that's the case, why can't America just stop the war at all?
They don't want to stop the war because
America doesn't want to be involved right now because it's in their interest right now to have them fighting each other.
You have to understand the military-industrial complex and how it operates within each of these countries is that they're always managing what we were talking about earlier is fear, right? They want to make sure that people within these parties, they have an inherent thing to worry about. They're not necessarily interested in, even if they do have peace, that it's not a very lasting peace. It's not a very concrete.
Conflict is needed, but it needs to be managed.
It's managed, and that everyone is selling product. Okay.
Product here is weapons.
Product is weapons. They're selling their weapons through the CIA, through Qatar, and all the various partners in their regions. That even if it's not official, they're selling their weapons through Qatar, or the CIA is sending it through.
So a lot of interventions aren't because of moral reasons; they're because of sale.
No, they don't care about morals. It's all about money. Yeah. Okay.
Look, as much as I love Turkey, if Turkey was moral, they wouldn't have made the comments on what happened when it was happening to the Uyghur Muslims, right?
Yeah.
If it was a moral conscience, let's be honest here, right? Countries act in their own interest. If it so happens to align with some kind of moral principle, they will ride that coattail and include that within their argument. But in reality, the main objective is always, what does my country or my people benefit from this?
These are the inherent principles what we've been talking about for a long time, listeners. Inherent principles of capitalism. Self-interest is the highest form of it's the tip of the pyramid. Everything else comes later, you know. So if you happen to benefit from me benefiting, that's great. I'm glad that you benefited, and you know, I might even pat myself on the shoulder for making such a great decision that benefited myself and you. But inherently, this is why we as Muslims, when we make anything good, we do anything that is beneficial, we always reaffirm our intention, and that we make sure that we do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's a great point, dude.
Yeah, that's the first one. That's the first hadith Qudsi, right?
Yes.
إنما الأعمال بالنية.
So
your intention cannot be split between things.
I was talking